Right, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. My children have been up for a couple of hours now. Unfortunately, they seem to have had a nice night's sleep and woke up extremely early this morning. I was awake at about 3:30. I thought I'd get on with this video again. Unfortunately, I have recorded this video pretty much all day yesterday. Every single time I had a massive interruption and loads of noise in the background and phones ringing and forgot where I was, so I'm going to do it again. Right, this is the C3010 Southord set, which I purchased after reading quite a few reviews on Without a Key, on different websites like UK Lock Sport Forum, etc., which I then subsequently joined. It was also at the right price and had a load of extra pics with it compared to the 2010. Now the difference between the 2010 and the 3010 is purely these pics here. Those 15 pics. The 2010 has 22 pics in it, 22 different bits in it, and the 3010 has 37 normally. This set is from withoutakey.co.uk and seems to come with an extra hook. This hook is for extracting keys that have snapped in the lock, so if you haven't got anything at all to get a hold of, I shall show you that in a second. Right, now the case that you get with this is a nice zipped case, leather. However, it doesn't open when you first get it. It's quite stiff, quite bouncy. It springs closed, so if you're picking a lock and you've got tension on the lock, you can't just leave this open and leave the flaps out and get the keys out. So what I had to do was bend it like this until it created a big crease down the back, and then it will lie flat. Once all the picks are in there and tension bars, etc., it does actually lie completely flat. Now ordinarily in the middle here you've got a tension bar. I'll just zip this back up. Ordinarily you've got a tension bar in the centre there, which is this one here. Now this is for dimple locks, and basically it's a set of tweezers that push outwards. So what you do is you squeeze it, you stick it in the lock, and that creates your tension bar and gives you access via the middle to pick the dimples. It also works with car door locks if you need to keep one of the little metal flaps open. So that's the first tension bar. Now this tension bar is a double-ended tension bar. It is narrow on this end and a thicker one on that end. All of these tension bars are, the narrow ones are 2.2 millimeters wide. The wider ones are either 3.06 millimeters or 3.15 millimeters wide. And I'm finding that most of them are between 0.78 millimeters and 0.81 millimeters thick, all of the tension bars, apart from the lightweight bar, which is a different size. So you get one double-ended, narrow and wide. You get a narrow, which ordinarily is straight. I've put the twist in there just because it lies flat on the table like that, sticking up. It also lies flat on the floor like that, sticking up, when you haven't got the twist in. I'm not taking the twist out because it'll mess it up, so I have added that in. I actually stood on it, which is why there's a bit of a bend in here when I dropped the whole set on the floor. Right, so that's a standard tension bar, narrow. You get a wide one with a twist. Again, this is 3.15 wide and 0.81 thick. I'm afraid I'm giving you all the measurements in millimeters, and I know a lot of you work in the inches, but I'm sure you can work it out. This is the light tension bar. Now this is a 0.46 millimeters thick, so just less than half a millimeter thick. and it's 2.4mm wide. I've put the twist in there again because it lies like that, and it's painful to stand on if you fall dropping on the floor. It does make it stand out a little bit though. This is the long tension bar. This is 120mm long, or 12 centimeters. It has the twist in already. It's the wide one. So again, that's 3mm wide, just over. And then you have the hard access, which is used for doing your locks where you might have something in the way, a door frame, something like that, where you need to create tension. Say on a double glazed unit, and you've got the locks here, the door frames here, sticking out a little bit, then you can still get tension from top of the keyway. So I've put the twist in there again. Right, now these Pics and these Pics are identical in shape and style, but these ones don't have handles. Now these are the extra ones that you get by saying it don't have handles. I hold it up to the camera like this, you'll see it's just one thin piece of metal all the way along. Now they're quite sharp, and I have found actually I cut my finger a little bit when I was doing the tension, when I was trying to pick one of the pins on one of the locks. I did that and slipped a little bit as I was doing it, and it did actually, you can see it's making a mark on my finger. So I've so far had gaffer tape around one of them, and I also have some heat shrink which has got glue in it, which is absolutely wonderful. Straighten them up for the video. And the heat shrink with glue in fits perfectly around there, but it needs to be heated up, etc. And I haven't yet put them on because I don't want to have to put them on and take them off for the video. Now I'll just quickly go through the Pics. We have the Southord with the handle, and you see that the handle is 3 pieces of metal stuck together. They're just spot welded either end. Personally, I would still add a rubber coating on the outside of these if I were making them, because it's still quite sharp, the corners. They're a little bit uncomfortable to hold. They hurt your fingers after a while because they're not quite thick enough. The other set that I got, which is the Gosso ones, have nice handles on, and I find these a lot easier to hold. But these are better Pics. Right, we've got the standard pick, standard hook pick. We've got the deep hook pick. We've got the deep hook with a flat end. Basically this end is flattened off. But it's very handy if you've got a pin that is a little bit awkward to get a grip of when it's further in the lock. So you've got a pin here that's quite far stuck down, and then you've got to push that one back with the back. That one's very handy for that. We have the what I call a teardrop, but technically it's just a hook with a little ball on the end, so it's technically a ball hook. You get the other one, which is basically the deeper, the same as this flat one, but this is a slightly deeper version with a rounded end. I have found that the finish on some of these Pics is not as good as I would hope, as I was expecting. Right, we have a half diamond hook, which has got the diamond on the end. I don't find that one very useful at all, because I find it always hits 2 pins. We have a standard half diamond. This is a small half diamond. You have the large half diamond. Again, I very rarely use this because I find it just gets chewed up between the bottom of the keyway and the pin, especially if you've got a very, very slight lift on one of the pins further forward and it's already locked off. You can't get this past, it just jams up. But I'm sure that's more to do with my picking skills than it is to do with the actual pick sets. Right, I'm going to go into going over my 10 minutes already. We've got the ball pick and the double ball pick, or the 8-ball pick as I call it. And then you've got a rake. This is a standard sort of key-shaped rake. Most of the time you can rake or jiggle with this and it'll pop most standard locks. You have the worm. The worm is basically quite a long sort of sweeping, smoothed off snake shape. Then you have the 3-peak pick. Now this one can be used both ways up, but it can be used to rake that way only on that side, because otherwise you jam up on the pins. But it's perfect for raking and making all the pins bounce. So that one I find very, very useful. It's good at opening most locks or getting a false set on locks. Now this one's the snake. They call it the snake rather than the worm because it looks more like a snake, sort of a sand snake, something like that. You do have a standard one, and then you have a very, very slightly different one, and this one's got more of an angle just here, so it's actually a hooked snake. Again, it's very, very handy for lifting pins up at the back when you've got limited access. I'll just quickly show you this one and then I'll tell you the measurements. That is the actual hook for pulling keys out. Now this one is an extra that I got from Without a Key. If you buy direct from Southord, I don't believe you get this, because this set has got 38 bits in. The Southord set direct from Southord's got 37 in it. Right, now the Pics, nearly all of the Pics with handles are 0.65 millimeters thick. That's that measurement there. All of the handles are 79 centimeters long, 79 millimeters long, and 41 millimeters long for the actual pick. This is the way it works. 0.65 is the worm, the rake, the half diamond, the full half diamond, and the hooked half diamond. The rest of them are 0.6 millimeters, so it's only 0.05 millimeter difference between all the Pics. So 0.6, 0.65 millimeters. Now, the other ones with no handles on are all 0.55 millimeters, which is 0.021 inches thick, to 0.57. A few of them haven't quite been finished off properly, and it's actually surprising how thick the double ball is. That is at the very, very tip. That is 0.8 millimeters thick, because the edge hasn't been finished off. It's really thick, it's really hard. I will be doing a short video just showing you how to clean up the ends of the Pics and make them all shiny and everything else. I'm going to make these Pics just a tiny little bit thinner, just with a little bit of a grind on my little wheel. Anyway, hopefully that video will work out alright. So that's the Southord 3010 set. If you want to save yourself a few pounds, you can buy the 2010 set, and all you will lose is these Pics here. It's the same set, just without the extra Pics. Thank you for now. Keep it safe, keep it legal. And please visit us at uklocksport.co.uk.